Hey, good morning everyone, Tractorman 44 here. Hey, we got a little bit of overcast and everything. Been raining last night, and then pretty much all morning. The sun just come out a little bit right now, so I probably need to go do something else, but hopefully it's a little bit too muddy, which allows me to give the excuse to work on this thing here. But anyway, hey, this is that old 30 I just put into the shop just the other day. This thing here has been at least 3.5 years, if not more, not running, and things always go bad whenever they just sit there. I took the air compressor and blew a lot of stuff off. Lots of evidence of mice droppings and stuff all around, and also chipmunks. They're just notorious for just dragging all your acorns and hickory nuts and all that kind of stuff up in there, and setting up in there, building nests and eating it and everything. So hopefully they haven't chewed the wires up too awful much. And the other day I told you all I converted this over to a Delco. I think I might have said 1-wire Delco, but it isn't. This is a 3-wire. Completely forgot about that until I started blowing the stuff off of it this morning. So this is a 3-wire Delco with an LED on the dash. So that's kind of cool. If I misspoke, I'm trying to correct that. It's a little bit low on oil because, obviously it's got a little bit of leaks and everything. Gas tank still looks about the same. So I put a little fresh gas in it. And the first thing I did, as always, pull the grounded wire off and shine up completely the grounded wire itself and also the connection point on the frame itself, and then tighten everything back down with either brand new bolts or wire brushed bolts, on the emery wheel or on the grinder. And also service the terminals and all that stuff, and then put a reasonably hot battery in it. This battery here is a little bit weak, but hopefully it'll give us enough spark to get it to spin over. Hopefully we'll still have spark. If not, we have to pull the lid off and get into the distributor and see what's going on with the points. So that's what we're going to do. We're just going to give it a spin or so and see what happens. I do want to say I ain't expecting a whole lot. But hey, let's take a look at that seat real quick. I know I told you the center of that seat rotted out, literally just broke right off of it. And here it is here, that's the reinforced plate and everything, that goes above and below the thin metal of the seat pan right here. Let's take a look at the spring. Just for comparison, this here's the spring that, the broken spring that was actually underneath the seat, and the seat was sitting real low and everything, and whenever I was using it way back in the past, it'd always bottom out and everything. Well, I knew the spring was broke, just never had a chance to fix it. Well, here's a replacement spring right here, just for comparison, off of a 44. So you can see the difference. There is 2.5 coils broken off of it. So we'll get that on that pedestal there, and we'll get the new seat on, and that's going to set us up in a world a little bit. But there's still another problem. These setups have it's kind of a shock absorber, but what it does, whenever you bounce down, what it does, it kind of holds back instead of shooting you back up real fast with just a spring. This kind of a dampener, that not a damper but a dampener, that actually slows down that raise in the seat so you just don't continue going bouncing. Well, the rubber grommets inside on both ends are completely gone. You can see I stick my finger on the foot. So we got to do something about that, but both ends of it needs to have some attention. And that, of course, goes halfway between the seat pedestal back here and then the front pivot point up there. I showed you guys in the past that whenever I convert these over to a 3-wire Delco, I use that one terminal to excite it through an LED or through a diode, and this gives me indication that I have power as soon as I turn the key on, if everything is still working correctly, and everything. And it also goes out as soon as the alternator output increases above the applied voltage or the static voltage. And so this one here, I do have to tell you, is one of the few that I've ever done that I think the amp rating of this diode is a little bit too big or too high, because ever since I've done this one here, sometimes it would go out if I was really revving the engine, and working hard, but most of the time the LED would sit there and flicker. That indicates you got a little bit too high of an amperage rating on the LED, and probably need to put down a little one. The ones that work better for me are those little ones that are about the size of a dime or a nickel that you get over the counter at O'Reilly. This one here just happened to be what they had in stock. So if I turn the key on and everything is not eaten up by mice, we should have an LED. But if it starts, we should be able to rev the engine up a little bit, and then that should go out whenever it fires up, and then attains that RPM required for the external excitation to start creating voltage in that alternator. Remember, always do your neutral handshake. Unless you're really familiar with your tractors, you should never start them on the side like I do. Don't do as I say, and definitely don't do as I do. I've not done anything to the carburetor. I don't even know if it's getting gas to the carburetor, but I did put about 2 gallons of fresh gas in the empty tank. So I'm not really expecting a whole lot, but we'll go ahead and give her a couple of cranks. Doesn't hurt. Let it turn over a few times anyway. Get that oil circulating through your system. So again, double check. If you like, you can put it in gear, drop it back into neutral, and make sure it's in neutral. Give her a full choke, and wish for luck. Well, hey, that's a good sign. Apparently it had just a little bit of fuel in the bowl, and you know what? I don't know if I turned the gas on. Yeah, I got the gas on, so maybe for some reason it's not refilling the bowl once the bowl run empty. But I'm gonna go ahead and investigate that, and we'll come right back. Now, I've still done nothing to the carburetor. I took the fuel line off out of the sediment bowl. I got a good flow of fuel down there, so that tells me that it's getting to the carburetor, but it's probably not quite going through the needle and seat. So I'm going to see if I can go ahead and fire it back up again, and we're going to see if we can jostle that loose. I'm going to go ahead and rev it up a little bit, get a little vibration there, maybe get that float to wiggle and jiggle, get that needle and seat busted loose. Let's see what's going to happen here. Well, I do notice now the float's actually stuck, so I was able to tap on it, and it's opened up now, and it's not one to seat. So it's overflooding or overflowing and flooding out the intake of the carburetor. So we'll see what happens here. I'd say a few more times starting it and running like that, revving it up a little bit, might go ahead and clear it through. If it is a consistent problem, what I have to do is take the carburetor off and just clean that, and you don't put it all back together. But anyway, I got to go back to giving attention to this guy here. Sounds easy on paper. There you go. Now we're going to go ahead and fix this guy right here. Well, guys, as you can tell, there really wasn't much to getting the new spring on and getting the new seat on. Brand new bolts and everything. And at the same time, under here on this shock absorber, whatever you want to call it, I was able to go ahead and bush that with some fresh rubber, so everything is nice and tight. It's actually going to be really pretty nice. It's
well, when I said it was kind of stiff, it's a lot stiffer than what it was. It was very floppy and stuff before, with that little short spring that had a couple of rings broken off of it, you know. And of course that little shock absorber down there, whatever that is, that dampener, that thing would just wore plumb out. So I got those replacement rubbers and stuff in there made out of belting material, and it's nice and tight right now. It's really pretty good. But whenever you set on it, it's got a nice cushy feel to it. But anyway, hey guys, you know, I brag on these flathead Continentals all the time, and with very good reason, because every one of them that I have had have been just pretty much bulletproof. They're just an extremely good engine, very reliable, very low maintenance, and takes very little to get them going usually, unless they got water in them like I had on one of them one time. But I can't say enough good about them. It's just an all-around good tractor, and it's got a moderate amount of power for the actual size that it is. They're a lighter duty farm tractor built to compete with the international age. You saw it didn't take much to get this thing started. I didn't think it was going to. Didn't even have to touch the carburetor. That's a good thing. Except I had to beat all of it because the float got stuck. All in all, everything has been a good day. I go driving this thing around right now, except for I don't have a rear wheel on it yet. Still got that flat tire over there, and that's going to be a problem because I'm out of spares. I'm going to have to take one off of a good tractor in order to put onto it. So hey, that's about all there is to this one here, and this Tractor Man 44, and I'm out of here, guys.